I would say broadly, I think video journalism at papers is at a really good place, and here's why. I think newspapers jumped into video thinking there was quick money to be made, and that we could make sort of cheap TV and fool people into watching us. That proved not to be true, and I think a lot of people, the Times included, went through some pretty painful growing pains. What I think people have figured out is that video journalism is itself journalism, and you've got to treat the video makers as journalists. For a long time, the video was a reporter said, "Oh, I'm doing an interview, come along with me," and it didn't make very compelling content. For a long time, it's a tradition in print to make fun of people in TV. They don't do that anymore because video is really, really hard. What I think the difference, and I think you're seeing it across the board, and I hope you're seeing it at the New York Times, is the video itself is the journalism, and the video makers are the journalists, and they're the ones going out and finding the stories that are perfect for video. What's very important, I think, now is that the videos themselves become the point of contact with our audience. So, for example, the Pulitzer we just won for Ebola coverage included my video maker. He didn't go over there and follow around a print reporter and say, "Let me just film what you're doing." He went and found his own stories that were good for video, and he profiled the people there in a way that was very compelling, and then he ended up writing the stories. Another example is we had a big story this year about a massacre, an ISIS massacre, in Iraq, which is only really now being uncovered, and we found a survivor of this massacre. We think the only survivor of this massacre. That started purely as a video story. It ended up being one of the biggest stories for the newspaper this year, but it started purely as video and then spread back to the newspaper. So I think that's kind of key to what we're doing. I think that works particularly well internationally. One thing the Times has always done is it has gone to places and it has stayed there. And that's something TV networks can't always afford to do. During the Ebola crisis, they parachute in, they do their stories. It's hard for them to stay. We've always done that. We've always had correspondents there. When my guy Ben Solomon won his Pulitzer, he had to fly back because he was in Sierra Leone doing a follow-up on his original reporting. I think that's our value. I think the fact that we've been there a long time, we're going to be there for a long time, that we care about the story, that people there are going to trust us to tell the story, that's our ace in the hole.